I want you to think back, not to what you had for breakfast this morning or what game you played yesterday, to the first time you were challenged mentally, maybe with a hard puzzle, or an argument with a close friend, or even a family member. Something that, for lack of a better word, hurt. Did you blow up in a fit of rage or frustration, cry out? Maybe you didn't say anything at all. Or here's one, maybe you changed something about yourself. Maybe you decided, due to the stress of the whole situation, there was a part of you that needed to be fixed of some kind. Marcus Aurelius once said that once you realize you have power over your own mind, not outside events, you will find strength. How we react to pain, pleasure, tragedy, or anything else is a circumstance that any one of us will have to come to terms with at some point in our lifetime. And if you don't, you're either delusional or a liar. And honing your reactions to that is a skill that I can make an entire other video about. But today, I want to talk about a game that makes the human condition and how we react a core mechanic of its gameplay, and that is Darkest Dungeon. Now, without any further ado, hello philosophers and gamers of all ages. I'm your host, Evan, and this is my lovely little assistant, Oriv. He's got cute glasses, I know. And today, we dive deeper into the side of games that most people don't look at. With a dash of philosophy, we're going to be digging into one of the core mechanics that truly makes Darkest Dungeon a masterpiece, and that is stress. I hope you all enjoy. Have a good one. Now, before we get into Darkest Dungeon as a whole, we need to define stress as a condition. So what is stress? According to dictionary.com, stress is defined as physical, mental, or emotional strain or tension. Now, we have all been stressed at one point in our lives, and more than likely, we've developed even a few tendencies because of this. Now, Darkest Dungeon has a great representation of when this happens, or what happens when one of your heroes hits 100 on the stress meter, which goes up to 200. You can have one or two types of reactions: a virtue, or a positive reaction that will buff your hero's attitude and party members around it, or an affliction, which can cause your hero to become almost delusional sometimes, or incredibly sentimental. Now, I won't be listing all of these, but I would like to go over a few key exceptions. There are way more afflictions than there are virtues, almost double. Say that about what you will of a card stacked against you game design, or the human condition as a whole. But the affliction I've come to find the most interesting is hopelessness. Now, the reason I find hopelessness so interesting is because of what it does to the hero it afflicts. There is a 30% chance that the hero afflicted by hopelessness will refuse to do just about anything. He won't fight, he won't heal, he won't run, just simply refuse to do anything. Now, Claire Booth Luca, forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, once said, "There are no hopeless situations, there are only men who have grown hopeless about them." And this goes to relate to the real world as well. Most people don't stay hopeless because their situations are genuinely hopeless. They just have no idea what to do with them. They get defeated in demeanor and just sit in that loss, and they really marinate in it, never pushing to find the small wins that some of us find, or sitting in decision paralysis for weeks, months, or even years, not really knowing how to change themselves in a way that can grow past their current problems, past the challenges in front of them. They may resort to intense coping mechanisms, but we'll get into that a little later. Now, for the virtue I'd like to cover, I present which of them I think is the hardest to find in real life: courage. Now, courage is stated to be the absence of fear, but on the contrary, courage is pushing forward with fear still present. We actually see this in game too, because courage is the only virtue in Darkest Dungeon that can actually reduce the stress in other heroes. Note to self, my luck was terrible in these recording sessions, and I could not get courage to display, so I should have put it on screen a little earlier. Say, do with that what you will. Now, this isn't to proselytize, but the Bible states in 1 Corinthians 16:13, "Be on your guard and stand firm in faith. Be courageous. Be strong." God bless. This will tie into something else later, and this is also proven historically as well. The American Revolution was massively outnumbered by the British, but due to the courage of a few men, they led the few Americans to victory over massive odds. And I mean, come on, you all have seen 300, right? Yes, I know it's not entirely historically accurate, but come on now. That movie is phenomenal, and it was a great show of courage. And courage is shown not virtue in itself, but a deliberate set of decisions that one has to make regardless of the odds, regardless of the outcome. Courage is not only a virtue, but it's a choice to push for something more than what we currently are, to show ourselves and others what we can become. The ability to be courageous is the opposite entirely of being hopeless. The choice to move forward, to not stay where you are, to keep going even though it is hard. To know just because you didn't win today, that doesn't mean you won't win tomorrow, or the next week, or the day after. It's the ability to keep going when it's brutally hard, when people don't believe in you, when you don't believe in yourself, no matter the circumstances. Courage is to keep going just because you can. Now that we've explored what it means to react in a positive or negative light, but a more personal side of it, that being said, let's dive into our sometimes side effects of our reactions. And those are our quirks, our personality traits, in other words. Now, Albert Einstein put it best: for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. And this shows in a similar stress with the quirk system. Quirks are a buff or a debuff that can be gained in a variety of ways. Being afflicted by finishing or failing a mission, these quirks can also be related to real life. Just to list a few: tough, thick-skinned, robust, resilient, and for a few negative ones, soft, fragile, satanophobic. And just like in our real-life characters, fears and confidence are shaped by what we go through. And how we choose to deal with these things is what leads us into the final part of this mechanic, and the most important part of this video we have: the coping mechanisms. How similar to real life when something happens to us. Not only are we to be tested mentally beforehand, but how we choose to cope is equally as important. Now, what caused us this trouble in the first place is something in itself. Back to the part about faith from my goal earlier. Some of us, myself as an example, my goal is not to proselytize once again, simply to relate. Escape into the comfort of faith. Some choose the comfort of faith to find peace from life's troubles. But the game also shows some more negative choices to cope. Addiction, gambling, self-harm, and this is a sad reality in our world. According to an article from the Recovery Village, over 17% of people will resort to self-harm at some point in their life, and only 15% of these people ever actually seek help for it. We all suffer at some point in our lives, but it is our job as humans to help each other to learn and cope and struggle onward, and to find peace no matter what is thrown at us. Whether you find God as I have, or a positive outlet serving others, art, music, something that gives you peace when we all need the peace of mind. How we react and cope with stress isn't just a piece of us. It is everything, and it is our hearts on full display. I think that Friedrich Nietzsche said it best, and it was actually the quote that inspired this whole video. To live is to suffer, but to survive is to find some meaning in the suffering. And Darkest Dungeon shows us how suffering affects us all. So if you are going to fall down in life, fall forward. Well, everybody, that's going to wrap up today's video, and I really enjoyed making this. A lot of introspection really goes into these, and I hope I taught you guys at least one thing today from some of the lessons I've learned in my life through some of my favorite games, and to bring them along for the ride is really enjoyable. If you like listening to me rant for a little while, feel free to hit subscribe or comment something maybe you overcame or still overcoming. And maybe some of our brothers and sisters can give you some love and encouragement down below. I can't wait to show you guys what I have in store next. That being said, God bless you all, and may you walk with the wisdom of those who came before. Have a lovely day.